And welcome everybody to the 2023 Formula One World Championship from the new and exciting race venue of Las Vegas. And for those of you that don't know, that's in America, or as Helmut Marko would say, South America. Okay, welcome everybody. I'm joined as always by my fantastic ho 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 Fabio.
Hey, how you doing?
Thank you so much, and welcome back, Lucky. Lucky, not an expert, Wolfin 7. How are you today,
Thank you,
Lucky?
sir. As I
Yeah.
said earlier, I'm not much better.
Yeah.
A slight bout of pneumonia kept me down, but I'm back. I'm here
Damn.
again.
Okay,
And eating pizza in honor of Fabio there.
Wonderful. Yes, of course, Fabio,
Cheers.
the famous
Cheers.
Fabio for being the Italian expert. All things Italian, he is the expert.
Yeah.
Okay. And also, I noticed that you're paying tribute to Toto Wolff this week again. Lucky.
Oh,
Um, Somebody needs to pay something to Toto. I'm
Yeah.
not sure if it's tribute though.
Yeah.
After
Yeah.
last Friday, and
Absolutely.
is nonsense.
Friday was nonsense. Is that what you're saying? Friday is nonsense. Are you saying that
It
this
was
quote from Max Verstappen, "They made me look like a clown," is something? Is it you saying that's real? You did you see the intro to the whole show?
I didn't. I was grabbing some pizza while it was playing, while I was muted.
Fair enough. Fair enough. What about you, Fabio? Did you see
I saw,
the intros?
I saw a little bit on YouTube,
Oh,
but I just saw the last 5 minutes where they were presenting the drivers, and that's it.
yes, the presenting the drivers. Yeah. Now I
Yeah.
wanted to get to that actually. So if I may,
I was
let,
talking about when they were on the roof of the garages and stuff. Is that what's going on?
not really, no. But
Oh,
we'll get there. I'm just going to play a little bit actually.
Yeah.
So
oh, okay.
here you go. Here you go. I'm going to just share this. There it is, and let's just play a little bit here.
Time! This is Formula One! Mexico! It's Sergio Checo Perez!
Oh dear, he was right there, right in front of him.
Yeah.
Right in front of him, literally shouting in his name in his face. And I did expect Perez to point to himself and go, "Who, me? Well, you're talking about me, are you?" Because
I would have slapped the guy in the face.
just knocked him out and taken his wife
Yeah.
and gone, "Let's get ready to rumble."
Yeah.
Ripped up that fucking jacket. Oops, sorry.
Yeah, that is
No.
some jacket.
Not even a slap, just backhand.
Don't be so
Yeah.
stupid. Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. Oh, here we go. Cringe. Thank you, Bob Elvis. Welcome. Thank you for the like as well, of course.
Hey, Bob.
He says, "Good evening to Funk Fabio and Lucky." That's you slightly ran the wrong way there, of course, but I do appreciate you putting me first. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Total cringe. They're total cringe, and of course, like I was saying, Max is kind of Red Bull. I appreciate them doing a special livery for Las Vegas. That's all I can say. Special livery there for Las Vegas, and it didn't seem to slow the Red Bull down at all. Of course, as we will find out. So let's move on with the show. I think we've done the intros to death now. There is a lot more I could say, but I won't. I will respect the Ferrari and not say what I was going to say. Okay, so I guess we start with
Can
first
I
practice.
just say that I'm glad you're respecting Ferrari because the FIA certainly didn't bother this weekend.
Yeah. Fuck
This
it.
is
Yeah.
this is where we're starting, right? So I was very keen because we're going to a new circuit. We've never been there before, and I was very keen to see and tune into the live session, of course. And I woke up at some godforsaken hour. In fact, I think I stayed up actually. Yeah, I stayed up and was awake at 4:30 in the morning UK time, sitting down with a cup of tea, ready to watch this. And that's the first mistake. I'm just going to say that was the first mistake. Sitting down with a cup of tea. What I should have done was sat down with some fucking tranquilizers, because really it was dreadful. It lasted about 8 minutes, 9 minutes total before we found out that the track was not in a condition for them to race on. Vis-a-vis basically the drain cover problem that we seem to get at most new circuits, or circuits which have been recently redrained. And it wasn't a drain as such; it was a water something or another. Why they need them, and basically they've overhauled the track, right? Everybody knows this. They overhauled the track. Why didn't they just fill the fucking drains in? Do you really need drain covers on the track? If you're going to spend that much money resurfacing a track, why don't you just do something about the drains and take them out completely? Just saying.
I believe this was actually a valve cover, a
Yeah.
water valve cover, rather than a drain.
Well, yeah, similar thing.
Yeah.
I say drain. I do mean water valve, tunnel access valve to whatever it was. Anyway, they ended up, of course, taking them out completely. They just came along, dumped a load of sand and cement and tarmac into the damn hole until it filled up to the top, and then called it job done. Shook their hands, walked off. Probably, sanded it down a little bit like 400 grit maybe. I think they finished it with 150 because this is Formula One. Wet and dried it as well, yeah. Made it nice and smooth, and job done. And so they had to do that, presumably down most of that straight. And I don't understand why it shouldn't have been done sooner. Still, FIA, what they said, it was, well, we did kind of check it, but unfortunately the circuit checks had to be delayed or ended early because of the intros. So we had Formula One intros. It was very exciting, the Formula One intros. I just played you Checo getting introduced, and it was all the same. And every single driver that came out just looked completely nonplussed by this guy shouting on the fucking track. So, I suffered for you guys. I fucking suffered for you guys. That's when I really wish I'd taken the tranquilizers. Go ahead.
What I found to be much more exciting was watching fans being escorted from the stands by police.
Yes, okay.
After practice one. That was more interesting than the driver introduction.
Yeah, debacle number 2 was that after they cancelled the first practice session, they waited 2.5 hours plus, nearly 3 hours. In fact, more than that, 3.5 hours before telling the fans that they had to leave half an hour before the beginning of the next session. Right? I mean, this is, of course, ludicrous. I mean, in any other country in the world, they'd just go, yeah, okay, look, you didn't get to see the first one. We've got empty grandstands either side. There was about 80 people in a 3,000-seater grandstand, and they decided they had to remove 80 people. Yeah, there you go. That's just Formula One.
Forcibly remove them, in fact.
Well, yeah, forcibly. I mean, threatening to shoot someone, I guess you could call that forcibly. Is it in America, though? I don't know. Maybe it's just a way of life. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
Don't know. Especially Las Vegas, right? Viva Las Vegas, as somebody very famous once said. I think it was Julius Caesar, was it? Viva Las Vegas. Is that what he said?
Yes, when he's just palace.
I came, I greeted, and I left.
It only took you 12 minutes before saying "Viva Las Vegas." You know
Well-
that is really
Thank you.
good.
But did you see what I did with it, though? See what I did
Yeah,
with it?
yeah, I know,
Yeah,
right?
good. It was good. It was good.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I took all day to write that joke.
Oh,
No,
nice.
Was he visiting the summer home in Caesar's Palace at the time? Was he?
Caesar's Palace. There you go. I came, I greeted, I left. Okay, so I guess we get down to the thing now. Like practice was a bit of a washout, or if I say a washout, it wasn't a washout at all. But they basically didn't manage to find out too much. Most people just ran soft tires, which of course is now, because of the new tire restrictions, is telling us exactly what tires everybody's going to run in the race. So they were running soft tires through most of the practices. And of course, that was the tyre that was going to be most useless. We then got on to qualifying. Qualifying was pretty good, I've got to say. I mean, after qualifying, things started getting better. So on pole position for qualifying was Charles Leclerc. The Ferraris were fast all through the practices, straight out the box. Finally, their heavy tyre wear was giving them some return. Then in second place, of course, was Carlos Sainz, who unfortunately, because of the drain incidents, got a 10-place penalty. We will talk about that when we get to Fabio. And then third place was Max Verstappen. And then fourth place was, I don't know, also ran some Perez behind somewhere. Can't remember exactly where. I lost track of him, to be honest with you. It wasn't until he got lucky that things started improving. Welcome, Caesar Las Vegas. Yes, indeed, Las Vegas. In fact, beg your pardon. I don't know why I called it Las Vegas, but I did. He is a famous shouter, though. He is a famous shouter. That guy, that whoever does the intro. Let's get ready to rumble. He apparently used to be a American football pro, and he was known for going around the field going, I'm about to fumble. And that's where he got his famous catchphrase from. I forgot his name. He's from the UFC. Yes, he also does UFC as well. Yeah, he used to do UFOs before that, funnily enough. Okay, welcome, as I say. Right, so we're going to move on, hopefully. So that was the first two, and that was all I was really interested in. And again, 5 lights went out into corner 1, which was always going to be a nightmare. We had, of course, let me just sort this out quickly. So, yeah, into turn 1, Leclerc got away okay, but better was Verstappen on the inside, on the dirty side of the track. Verstappen threw his car into turn 1, and when I say threw, literally no care whatsoever to the track, and drove off the track, and of course this pushed Leclerc out wide. Alonso spun in the first corner, causing a bit of a ruckus. Unfortunately, fucking Bottas managed to crash into him, and
Twice.
also twice. Yeah, twice. To be fair, it was twice. Yeah. You know, he could have put his foot on the brake, but he thought, nah, fuck it. It's
fuck it,
Alonso.
Yeah.
This is where he gets his name, fucking Bottas, from, by the way.
Yeah.
A rare mistake from Verstappen pushing Leclerc off. Yeah, rare. Now I've never seen him drive someone off the track before. Never before. Was it Abu Dhabi?
Well, not this year.
Not this. Not that I can remember. Well, no, I can't. Well, anyway, let's move on. Yeah, and then also Sainz having a little spin by himself as well. Perez crashing into the back of Bottas. Lewis having a little crash into Perez, but still managing to get round. And the McLarens, which qualified dreadfully at the back, getting away. This then led on to Verstappen getting out front, and obviously, you know, it was a slam dunk penalty, of course, coming. He could have let him back through and avoided the penalty. but he decided not to, and he wanted to take the 5-second penalty. So there was that. This was a bit of a mystery to me. I felt like Max could have done himself a big favour just by letting Leclerc through, following him round a couple of laps, waiting for DRS, and then actually taking the thing. So then we also got on to Lando Norris, unfortunately going, well, on heavy fuel, of course, cold tyres, going into turn, I think it was turn 8, something like that, turn 7, turn 8. Losing the rear end and slamming at, I guess, about 190 mile an hour into the corner, into the wall. Really a dangerous situation, something that's going to have to be looked at for next year, although I don't think there's much they can do. However, it did seem like a dangerous corner to me. This was lap 14, by the way. Esteban Ocon and Gasly getting alongside each other once again. Somehow they didn't manage to come together, so that was good. By the way, Norris got taken off to the local hospital just for double checks, but he turned out to be okay. Welcome, Zoomzun. Welcome, Sandy. Thank you very much for stopping by, and thank you for the like. Okay. So then here we are, lap 14, the Sojon Laurent, which we will get to later. Also trying to have a good race. Both of the Williams qualified very, very well. Good news for them. And then Piastri coming through the field with a faster car than he qualified with. Obviously, they'd set the car up for the straights, and that was good. This was also another little point that Verstappen, just before qualifying, had taken wing off his car in order to match the Ferrari's speed. And that turned out to be crucial. Ferrari, if they'd left it the way they had been in practice, Verstappen probably would not have won the race. However, they decided to take wing off, sacrifice their tyres a little bit as a result, and at least have a chance to overtake the Ferraris, which were, as I said, were just fast out of the box and very fast down the straights. The Ferrari had a new livery, by the way, and they look sensational. The white rear wing was extremely pleasing to the eye. Yeah, I think they could have gone with the yellow myself, but the white looked really good, really classy. Nonetheless, the other point I wanted to make was Sergio Perez. Checo was, in fact, did not take the wing off his car for some unknown reason. I mean, if it's good enough for Max, it's not good enough for Sergio, obviously. And therefore, he was later to pay the penalty for that. We will get to it. Anyway, after lap 15, 14, Max's tyres started wearing, and the Ferrari, still kept its tyres in there. Leclerc was able to come back just before the pit stops, and Max had been given a 5-second penalty by this time for his risque maneuver into the first corner. And we were all on the edge of our seats, knowing that this could be a really good chance for the Ferrari to stretch its legs and get away, thinking how wonderful this was going to be. Unfortunately, though, although Leclerc did manage to get past on lap 16, in lap, was it 17, there were some issues between Hamilton and Piastri, and then finally Max, by lap 25, I should say, Max and George Russell came together. What I felt was another desperate move by Max Verstappen, but judged to be George Russell's fault. They came together, and this left a lot of debris on the road, which then put out the safety car. Perez and Max were both able to double stop. Also, Leclerc, who had stopped in the previous 5 laps before that, unfortunately was unable to, or did not choose to stop. And this left him out of position on tyres which were slightly older, with Max pretty much like 3 or 4 cars back. So again, really the yellow flags really aiding the Red Bulls, I would say. this wasn't to be the only one. Leclerc got away well. Obviously, hard to warm the tyres up in these cold conditions. However, it wasn't very long, lap 32, that Max was able to get by on his fresher tyres as Leclerc's tyres slightly wore out. The Alpines came together again, a lovely little re-overtake by Gasly on Ocon, but eventually Ocon, having the younger tyres, was able to get by, and that was to pretty much set those two up. Okay, lap 35. Leclerc got past Perez, was it? Max got past Perez and managed to catch up to the back of Leclerc. So by lap 37, it was clear that the race was pretty much over, and Verstappen managed to pass Leclerc, trying to keep. Max was very generous to Perez. He tried to keep him in the DRS as long as possible to give him a chance to keep up. Obviously, Max was aware that Perez's wing was a lot steeper, had a lot more drag, and knew that Perez was vulnerable. Then Leclerc made a mistake into that same, I think it's turn 8, and that led Perez by. Then it was a matter of Leclerc trying to catch up to the back of Perez, and finally managed to have a big duel with him on the very last lap and overtake him to the front line, into the line to get second place. And so that left quite literally the Red Bull of Max Verstappen in first place, Leclerc in second place, Perez third, Russell coming home with a fine fourth, drove very well. Ocon fifth, drove very well. Stroll, where the fuck did that come from? Stroll sixth place, Sainz seventh place, a good recovery from the 10th place down, although again both Ferraris hindered badly by the yellow flags and the safety cars. Hamilton 8th place from the back of the grid, Alonso 9th, and Piastri hanging on for a good 10th. Gasly unlucky 11th. And that was the Las Vegas 2023 Formula One Grand Prix race, leaving, of course, Max Verstappen in first place for the championship. Very happy. Max was extremely overcome, I would say. He basically, when he got out the car, he was so delighted. He took his giant shoes off, took off his red nose, and just celebrated for pure joy as he took his helmet off, and his massive amounts of red hair, multicolored hair, came out. It was a sight to behold. He was so thrilled, Fabio. He was so thrilled. Even his bow tie went round when he got out the car. So there we go. Okay, that's it. I won't make any more cheesy jokes. I'm going to pass it straight over to my co-host for his roundup of the race, Fabio.
Yeah. So about the race specifically, there's not too much to add. There are a couple of points. You mentioned the safety car. When the safety car got in, Leclerc, as you said, already changed the tires. So Verstappen and Perez and some other managed to switch them. So at that point, Leclerc had tires which were 5 laps older than the other guys. But one of the issues that they had is the fact that the temperatures were quite cold and it was really hard to heat the tires. One of the problems was that Leclerc had to go through 2 heat cycles of the tires. So he changed the tires 5 laps before. You had to bring them up to temperature, in a certain way to allow the tire to be consistent and actually last. When the safety car got in, not only the other guys managed to put fresher tires, but they only had to go through 1 heat cycle to put the tires back to temperature, while Leclerc had to do it twice. that was a problem. That was another problem for the tires. But it's one thing. On the other end, the Ferrari was really competitive, and I think that if they didn't give the penalty to Sainz, I think that Leclerc might have won the race. There were really good chances he might have won the race. We saw for the first time, I think, a car actually overtaking a Red Bull in a race setup during the race, and that was Leclerc overtaking Verstappen, nonetheless. So yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, when I say Red Bull, I mean the proper one, the one driven by Verstappen.
McStappen, yeah, as we're calling him,
Yeah.
McStappen, yeah. Ronald
So
McStappen.
yeah, it was really exciting, but again, Verstappen got a little bit lucky with the safety car and all that shit. So yeah, there is that.
Not as lucky as Perez, but still pretty lucky.
Yeah, was pretty lucky. What else? So the Mercedes were, I think, lost in the desert. I can't. There were just nowhere to be found. Slow cars, problems. So a lot of problems for the cars. So yeah, the same thing can be said about Ricciardo. Poor Tsunoda had an issue with the car, so it just went off. I think went off the race. The same way that also Norris got out of the race, and the hypothesis here is that he got a bump on, I can't remember which corner, but it's a very tricky left corner where you have to brake while steering, and apparently there is a bump there. Many cars have had issues during the qualifying.
Indeed.
He just lost the car, went into the barriers, and that's it. Oh, one thing I have to say, the track itself was actually really good, way better than I thought. Not only because it gave a great show, many overtakes, of course the 2 kilometers straight, played a huge part in it, but regardless, I don't care. It was a very exciting race to see, not only for the first position, but especially, for the positions in the mid corner, in the midfield. It was a very good race, and actually, not taking manual covers, into consideration, it was also quite a safe track. Again, Tsunoda and especially Norris just lost the car at very high speed with no consequences, apparently. So that's it. Last but not least, our
just
men.
to point out, if you could just point out, this was a picture you sent to me,
Yes, yes.
Fabio. This was the track layout in the desert at night, looking down on it. As you can see clearly, the track is very well defined by how bright it is, and it was a good racetrack. I have to agree with you. Apart from the one corner where Lando crashed, I thought it was an excellent track, very, very safe. I say, apart from that corner, even with the bumps. So I'm actually looking forward to to going there again.
Yeah. So the last but not least, our man Perez. Perez managed to accomplish what Helmut Marko asked him to do, which was to get second in the championship. That is actually I think it's the first time that Red Bull makes a 1-2.
It is, yes.
So kudos to the guy. On the other end, Perez has been overtook in the last lap in the last 2 races. In Brazil, it was Alonso, and in Las Vegas, it was Leclerc, which put up a fantastic overtake at the last lap. Very few corners to go. That was majestic to see, because it wasn't close when he decided to dive in, and the way he did it was fantastic. He stayed behind the car, so Perez had no idea. He was probably thinking, it's too far, and he got at at the very last moment, and Perez could do nothing at all. That
Perfectly
was
timed.
that was
Perfectly
very
timed.
very
Yeah,
very
perfectly timed.
good.
Again, showing
Very
the class and the class of the driver that is the pasty pastry.
Absolutely, which he showed already, during qualifying. But again, is I mean, when he has the tool, he has the motivation. Is a really good fighter. There is no question about it. So yeah,
Indeed.
that's pretty much it. If you want to talk about the manual thingy later on, I don't know.
We'll do that later on. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Let's just over to you, Lucky. If you want to just talk about the race for us. Over to our other co-host. Let me just see. There we go. Special host, Lucky Wolfen 7. Lucky 7 Wolfen.
Special
Over
ed.
to you.
Oh, special ed. Okay, so the Las Vegas Grand Prix. I must admit that I had visions of the last Las Vegas Formula One Grand Prix, which, if you guys remember, was in the early 80s. Was that bagpipes?
Yes,
like
that was bagpipes. That's what the Italian ambulances use.
Ah, right, okay.
Okay, over to you.
Yeah, the last Las Vegas Grand Prix, I'm sure you guys and others will remember, was basically the car park of Caesar's Palace, in which they made a track, which was pretty fucking awful. Let's be honest with it.
Oh, it was terrible.
That was commonly referred to as the worst track ever in the history on F1, in 50 years of history of F1.
And they ran it like maybe 2 years or something like that. And basically they complained like and bitched, the drivers, Mansell, Senna, whoever else was there at the time, Prost. They complained like anything about the circuit. And so they went, oh, well, next year we'll get it sorted, son. Don't you worry about that. And they came back next year, and literally like the week before, they'd been round and concreted the potholes.
Yeah.
That was it. And it was bumpy as shit. Anyway, carry on, Lucky.
I'm trying to remember. There was one of the American Grand Prix on the street circuits that had a lot of track breakup. But was that Long Beach or was that Las Vegas?
Well, that was Vegas as well. I mean, Long Beach did as well.
No. I think I know what. It was an Indy race. It wasn't an F1 race. And it was fairly recent.
No, there was an F1 race.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's back in the day.
The 80s.
Yeah.
That after qualifying, the track had broken up badly, and they resurfaced some of the holes overnight, and actually did a very good job. But I mean, it was a real mess.
Yeah, I think that was Caesar's. Yeah, they used to just come along and concrete the holes. They just like pour a load of concrete in, quick drying concrete, and there you go. Kind of thing.
And that happened again not too many years ago. I think it was for an Indy car races, and I think it was Miami or stuff like that, where they had strips of asphalt literally ripping off. That was a very good thing.
So they also did the same thing at. That's going back, so I won't mention Mossport, but the one I'm thinking of is Villeneuve, Circuit de Villeneuve. They also had the same thing happen there, where over one winter there was it was terrible snow and there were a lot of potholes. So they started America, capital M. Thank you very much for the correct spelling. And welcome, Savage. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the like. They had to resurface, and there were like strips of asphalt. Different sides of the circuit had different grip levels. Oh, it's beautiful. That's what we used to do back in the day. Sorry, Lucky, go ahead. I keep interrupting you.
No, that's absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine. I couldn't remember if it was Long Beach or Vegas. I just remember it was one of the early 80s American tracks. I just couldn't remember if it was Vegas. However, we didn't get a Caesar's Palace car park track. We actually got what was quite a nice street circuit. However, it looked like somebody had been out and polished the track before the start of proceedings, it was just so shiny. It was weird. But anyway, are you okay there?
Okay,
Dying.
he's just gonna die. Well, Fabio. Okay, so there we go. That'll be the end of the
It's
show
just a-
if Fabio dies. So let's just. Is he dying? Is he not dying? I wish he'd make up his mind. He is. Okay, we
yes,
got
he
the
is
thumbs
dying.
up. We've got the thumbs up. He is in fact dying right now. Don't make him laugh because that'll make it worse, everybody. Loving the American
Okay,
accent
so
was very convincing.
let's get to the part of the show that we've. Let's get to the part of the show that we've all been waiting for. Speaking me fucking.
It's Savage's fault. It's Savage's fault. No worries.
I'm sorry. Oh, shit.
Oh, okay. You're still alive.
Yeah, I'm still alive. Barely.
Fabio's alive.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a quote from the film, by the way.
Here we go.
Okay, well, we'll pass over again once again. Back to Lucky Wolfing. I'm sorry we're getting so many interruptions for this point because you're fresh back. Over to you, Lucky. So yeah, you were saying it was probably I think it was Las Vegas in the car park, and he's either laughed too hard at one of my jokes. No,
And we lost him too.
we've lost. No, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, here we go. I'm back.
Okay, there you go.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, we're good to go.
Yeah, but that was a small hiccup there.
Holy
So
shit.
anyway, let's get to the part of the show that everybody's actually waiting for.
Yes, please.
Logan Sergent.
Le
Le
Logan
Sarge.
reportage. Le Logan Sergent.
Yeah. Apparently, somebody said to Logan, it's qualifying 3-time Logan, and Logan's qualifying what? Never heard of that.
Yeah,
Anyway,
he's sixth. Did
Logan
he
made
qualify sixth?
7th. He made 7th on his own, and
Right.
with the grid penalty for Saints, was promoted up to 6th. 6th on the grid for Logan. Far too little, far too late. He won't be back. Next week
Again,
is going to be his
far too late.
last Grand Prix, and I don't think we'll be seeing him in a Formula One car.
Yeah, I mean, just to say,
Anyway.
this was a Williams specialty track, long straights, no medium speed corners.
No,
so,
no downforce required.
yeah, exactly.
No downforce required. So the both of Williams did actually quite well. Logan, a career best 6th, made it to qualifying 3. He's still crap. So moving on from Le Sergent, what were we going to talk about? Yes, the bump. The bump that took Norris out. That's what McLaren are saying. There's a small bump. All the cars to be seen grounding out there, and that was the cause of his cold tire accident. And as you said, he was taken to the medical center, found to be perfectly okay, and sent home with a ball of aspirin.
Da donna Anna domani mattina prendo la 500. Ciao.
Ciao, Barbara.
Bye. Is there anything else you'd like to
Come
get out
on.
of the way?
Yeah, it's one of those days. Come on.
Yeah, we're just going to keep interrupting, Lucky. Don't worry about it, Lucky.
Yeah.
We're glad to have you back just so we can interrupt you. Carry on.
All right. Okay, so the bump. What else do we want to talk about? Yes, Max Verstappen at the start of the race used one of the oldest karting tricks in the book and sent poor Leclerc out wide and got the penalty deserved. Although, did it make any difference in the end?
Fuck you.
Not really. Not really. It didn't make a fucking difference at all. I think it was a penalty in name only. So what else happened? A heap of things I was going to talk about, and I've completely forgotten what they were now. Leclerc. Has Leclerc got to be the most unlucky Ferrari driver of all time? If he's not, he must be getting really close. And I'm wondering if a lot of his quote luck unquote is or bad luck rather is Ferrari's own creation. Um, do you not think he should have gone in for tyres at the same time as Perez and Verstappen during the safety cars? You not think that made a difference?
No, I don't think so. I mean, the tires were just five laps older, and the guy's in front. He has a very good pace. Even when Verstappen managed to go ahead in the first laps, he couldn't really pull away. So he was in front. He had to risk it. I don't think they should have changed tires.
Okay, fair enough. I was kind of
I concur as well. I mean, what did for Leclerc, that wouldn't have been so bad, just the first, but there was 2 safety cars, I believe.
Yeah.
Is that right? And it was the second safety car that screwed Leclerc really badly. So, it's just unlucky timing with the stops. It gave Red Bull all that degradation that they should have had was just cancelled immediately, and they only lost a handful of seconds. Plus, they didn't lose really very much. I mean, they lost 5 seconds on that pit stop, and it did put Verstappen behind. But because of the nature of the circuit and the fact that you could get DRS so easily going down the straights, at least if you're in a superior car, it just meant that it was very easy for Verstappen to keep overtaking cars until he was just behind Leclerc. So that made no difference either.
I mean, and also the fact that they gave 10 positions to Sainz.
No, that's the biggest one of all. Yeah, and we will get to Sainz because that is an important part of this Grand Prix. Yeah.
Okay, well, my driver of the day, and I think he actually did get driver of the day, was Charles Leclerc. He did a really good job under difficult circumstances, and his last lap move on Perez was just awesome. It was brilliant. Made the whole race. Let's be honest about it. What else went on? We'll come to Sainz later. The rest of it was pretty dull, wasn't it? There really wasn't much happening outside the top 4 cars. Hamilton.
Well, I mean, there was a lot of thing going on, in the midfield, and there was also a brilliant driver, which we forgot to mention. Ocon drove a fantastic race.
I was just going to say that. Yeah. He did very well. There's no doubt about it. But
wow.
He did okay. I wouldn't say he did very well, and here's why. Because the overtake on Gasly was very much helped out by the timing of his tire change and the red and the yellow card and the safety cars. Again, I think he benefited over his teammate, and Gasly actually drove a better race. But was just unlucky. So
I mean, it was P16 at the start.
I know. But Hamilton as well, right? He came up to 8th place. You know what I mean? And there were the 2 Williams were dropping like stones all the way through, so that didn't help them. They were unlucky with the tyre stops. I think we can't really judge, how good people's races were. Necessarily just because they came through the pack, right? There were a lot of issues again with the timing of the of the safety cars. That's why I don't think Perez drove a particularly good race. When we found out that he had higher downforce on, it was pretty clear to me that he had just aimed to get as high as he could and not necessarily get right up there. And if it wasn't for the fact that he had the safety cars and the timing of the safety cars, he would have been nowhere. So I think that it really was just a question of safety cars. That's why we're focused on the first, second place. Russell, for instance, as well, right, had a 20-second extra stop time based upon his crash. Plus he had a 5-second thing, and he still managed to finish 4th. So it seemed like to me he had a good one, but again, what he had, a lot of that time was negated by the fact he had good tyre stops in relation to the safety cars. So I think those fell within the range, those that could run their tyres longer in order to get to the safety car, did very well. Those that didn't and couldn't, didn't.
You have to consider what they're driving, though. I mean, the Alpine is a fucking brick. So that's why I think he made a very good race. But yeah, I understand your point.
My two favorite moments of the race both involved Leclerc. The one in the last lap we've talked about, where he went past Perez, and we'll come to Perez in a second. And the other was when Verstappen overtook Leclerc. He was killing him down the straight. He absolutely blitzed him. However, Leclerc must have braked 100 meters later going into that corner because he was back level with him. It was an absolute brilliant
Yes. I want
attempt.
to throw this over to Fabio. Absolutely right. It did seem strange, but Fabio, you said something to me at the time which was very relevant on that situation.
Oh yeah, he made that weird braking, and then he left the brake, and then he applied the brake. And I think that weird braking was for actually Perez to get close by. He wanted Perez to get closer.
Yeah. So he broke early basically in order to, and then got to the apex in order to stop Leclerc coming through, and went through a lot slower than he would normally have gone, holding Leclerc up in order to give Perez, or try to give Perez, the DRS down the next straight, which in fact he managed to do, and in fact he did hang on and it was able to overtake at one point. So I think it did work. Max was deliberately, and then Max was slowing down in order to give Perez his slipstream down the thing, knowing that Perez had a much slower car because of the higher downforce. So that was weird again, as you say, Lucky, because it's almost like Max had gone, okay, I'm going to try and help Perez get second place in the championship.
I think that he wanted Perez between him and Leclerc. I mean, he knew that Leclerc had a very fast car, and I don't think that Verstappen was really confident that he could bring it home. He tried at the beginning.
Yeah.
He didn't have the pace that you usually have on the other car, so I think was a little bit scared by Leclerc, and by the fact that he already overtook him once.
Yeah, the tyres, because that was purely at the end of the stint he was overtaken, because his tyres wore out, whereas Leclerc's didn't. So I think that's what you're alluding to, yeah?
Yeah. So, I think it was more the fact that he wanted to be safer, by putting Perez between him and Leclerc. So.
Yeah, which worked. It worked. Right? It's amazing how Verstappen treats it like a video game, isn't it? A real life video game. That's how good his car is, I guess. Anyway, Lucky.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
Okay, well, let's talk about Perez as we're on the subject. Fabio said that he did the job he was supposed to do, which was second in the championship. And I could only ask, how could he not have got second in the championship? I mean, let's be honest. That ambulance driver that just went past, put him in that Red Bull, and he'd probably get second place in the championship.
Well,
so I don't know if it's quite the feat that it might seem to be in this case. But I'm open to your guys' suggestions, and what do you think?
I mean, it wasn't that much of a given up to a few races ago that he was going to get second. First of all,
but I mean that was purely down to Perez's own fault rather than anything else.
Yeah. Agreed. Well, I've just got to say, when you look at Max Verstappen, Perez has got some big shoes to fill. Okay, there we go. Okay, so let's move on to Sainz, because Sainz really was the key thing, right? This is where the race, if anything, Ferrari was compromised in its strategy because of the Sainz.
In days of old, FIA used to be an acronym for Ferrari International Assistance. That's not the case anymore. If there ever was such a thing of an FIA bias to Ferrari, then that has long since gone out the door. That was an absolutely fucking ridiculous situation that Sainz found himself in. And sending him back 10 places on the grid was one of the worst decisions that the FIA have made in a long time. I'll leave it with you guys.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, I think
agree.
before you go, Fabio, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just want to make that we've got an emergency message coming through from the FIA, Ferrari International Assistance. Okay, carry on, Fabio. I think that's a classic joke. Thank you, mate.
So the well, the thing is that so the whole situation was weird, right? Sainz's car was basically destroyed, and by the way, both the Ferrari and the Alpine mechanics did a fantastic job. They basically rebuilt a car from scratch in one night. I don't think they were even thinking.
Can you tell us the exact damage that the Sainz's car actually sustained?
Before you do, less than one night. All right.
Yes.
Both those cars were ready for the next session, which, although was delayed, it was they managed to rebuild a car from a tub with electronics in to a complete car in like about 4.5 hours. I mean, it's astonishing.
Yeah, I mean, just to give you a rough idea, the rules. I mean, it used to be that you could have a semi-finished car, in the box, not a complete car, but at least the top with the suspension. Now the rule do not allow that anymore. So basically they had to start from scratch, and the damage to Sainz's car was the frame. The old frame had to be thrown away. Yep. Batteries, and I mean even the seat of Carlos Sainz was destroyed. Yeah. And I mean the seat. I mean, think about it.
So basically, the car
To be fair, though, he's because he shat himself. So, different reason.
Well, yeah, man, I don't know, but regardless, they had to rebuild the old car, and so the main problem is that they actually applied the rule book, because there is no contingency for something like that in the rule book. So they had no other chance but to do that. Now, there are some people saying, why Ferrari didn't appeal, try to at least to raise the concerns, stuff like that. Well, I mean, there are two simple reasons why that didn't happen. The first one is that in order for them to have a chance that they didn't give him any penalties, all the teams would have to agree. And they knew perfectly well that they would have found at least one team which did not agree. Probably Mercedes. Because because they're the biggest competitor right now for position in the championship. They're only 4 points. So and it's a lot of money. So they knew that. They didn't even try because they knew it was a false battle, just a lost battle. The other thing is that by not raising the thing, you basically, I would say you get a bonus point, but you surely have a token that you can play, in the future, because that was a very ridiculous situation. Everybody agreed with that, but actually there was no space in the rule book not to give Sainz that kind of penalty. That is unfortunate. They will probably have to change the rules in some way, shape, or form. There is another problem that not too many people, talked about, is the budget cap. I think that the damage to the car was something on the line of 1.8 million or stuff like that in parts. So what they will that is something they can do. They can, make a question to the FIA to have, a bonus for that kind of accident, which did not depend from them. It wasn't a driving mistake. It was something which happened on a track that the FIA was supposed, to. I mean, they have checked and say it's good for racing. So that might be something that they could play later on, but other than that,
Yeah.
unfortunately, they were pretty much tight.
So I've heard that Ferrari have decided to basically only give the staff cappuccinos from now on. So there'll be no pizzas or pizzeria facilities.
No, they actually. You heard it wrong. They actually got to send them to Mercedes and Red Bull catering because apparently they're really good. So
I don't think Red Bull can afford it, but yeah, maybe Mercedes can. I don't know. I don't. Although obviously George had probably hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of damage because he also tangled with Red Bull.
well, yeah, but that is a racing accident. It's
Well, you say that, but
I do say that. Yeah.
I don't think it's racing when you're actually driving against Verstappen. That's not what I would call it. But anyway, we'll brush over that. And in nothing like the damage that was done to Lando Norris's car, of course. I mean, that looked like a complete write-off. But there you go. Go ahead, Wolf. Lucky.
My feelings on the matter are that the FIA should have done nothing. And if they'd done nothing, and a team like Mercedes had protested, then that would have left Mercedes looking like the bad guys, and left the FIA sort of fairly clean with things. I think that's the way it should have been done.
Yeah. Okay. So this was a different. Let me say something here. This is a different circumstance because the people that were liable for the damage are the FIA themselves because they're running this event, right? So they were responsible for the track safety. Number one. Number two, hang on. Number two, when this has happened in the past, it is in fact the circuit owners that have to pay for this kind of damage. Right? This isn't something which is new. This has happened before, and money has been claimed back in the past against the circuit. But this time, the circuit people that run the circuit are in fact the FIA. So they could easily have just said, "Okay, we're not going to give a penalty. Let Mercedes after the fact complain, and then the FIA would have paid the money back to Ferrari, and of course they still would have had it against their budget cap, and they still would have had to do that, but they wouldn't have had the 10th-place penalty. So I think what happened, what went into motion, was more of the FIA, not Liberty Media. Right, and that's the issue. It's not the FIA, it's Liberty Media that were responsible for the crash. So again, this split between what the FIA do and what the circuit or the Formula One owners do is it's getting in the way again now, and that never used to happen. Bernie used to go down there and say, "Look, fuck the FIA, we'll worry about it. I'll take you to court if you do this." So either way, you're getting taken to court. And that's just not happening anymore, unfortunately. But anyway, go ahead.
I mean, so a couple of things. So the event was organized by Liberty Media, but the FIA is the one which has to check the circuit and ensure that it's good for racing. The other thing is that actually Toto Wolff started talking before the FIA decided. Toto Wolff, so Vasseur, after the accident said, we have completely damaged the chassis, engine and battery. I think it's simply unacceptable. And Toto Wolff responded, these things happen. It was just a manhole. What happened is not an indelible stain. So he was already talking about that before the decision. So, and that's why Ferrari didn't push it, because they knew that the thing was going to be outvoted anyway. So there is that.
Yeah. Two things there. Firstly, the FIA don't go by what the team owners say, the FOM say, right? So if they decided to or not to, that would have been the decision. Hang on, let me finish. And then secondly, yes, Mercedes could have then post-race held an inquiry or put up a legal challenge to the decision. and then that could have been sorted out. But of course, there's a limited time period with which they can do that, and I understand that the Liberty Media would not have wanted that to happen due to the fact that they wanted the race result to stand on the night, because that's what they like nowadays. Yeah.
So, but the thing is that in order for the FIA not to give the 10 positions penalty to Sainz, they would have had all the teams to vote. That is the problem. It's
No, I
not that
don't
they
think so.
couldn't. Yeah, no,
I
no,
don't
it
think-
is. It is.
No.
No. I can guarantee you it is,
Oh,
because
okay.
by rule, if you change those kind of components, you get a penalty. That is in the rule book. The only way that they could amend that was that if all the teams agreed not to implement that one.
Yeah, I
So-
hear what you're saying. But go back to Abu Dhabi 2021, okay? And this was a decision made by the FIA on their own on the night at the time. And like I'm saying, I think these
What
decisions can be made
what you're
and they can
talking
be
about?
challenged.
What
Changing
what you're
the
talking about?
there's a little bit in the thing that says if the person that's running the show, the track director, is right.
No, but
they can decide. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. You're talking about two different things. So what happened in Abu Dhabi was during the race. What happened in Las Vegas was something. I mean, was a component which was changed by a team, and there is no space in the rule book which determines the reason why they have to change that component. So it's two different things,
Yeah,
they
I
have to do
appreciate
that.
To say that there is absolutely no what's its name, no way that they could do this. I think they could do it, but they would face legal challenge. Right, that's what I'm saying. Okay, and I appreciate that there's no rule written into that particular section, but like I'm saying, I think the director of the track could have just gone, okay, right, well, I'm going to use this part of another rule, or this part of my license as a director of the race to say this is how it's going to go, and they would have faced a legal challenge. I completely agree with that.
I can tell you. Sorry, I can tell you something more. That if you look at the sporting regulations, there is no article whatsoever that refers to the possibility to prevent a possible penalty. There is no room at all. So even the thing that all the teams might have agreed, that would have been a stretch of the rule book by itself of the sport regulation, because in the sport regulation there is absolutely no fucking possibility about that not happening.
Yeah.
So I know it was an important situation. I think they will have to address in the rules, in some way, shape, or form. But that was it, and it was unlucky. Somebody could just hope that next time it happens to fucking Verstappen, so we can have a more interesting race. But other than that, it's
Yeah. Although I believe his suspension is a little different.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
Anyway.
Toto Wolff. I don't know if you guys saw the Toto Wolff comments at the press conference after he called out one of the journalists who'd said something under his breath.
Yes.
Did you see that?
I do remember. Yeah, I did.
Yeah. That if that had been a Mercedes and not a Ferrari, do you think that Toto Wolff would have been saying the same thing?
I do. Yes, I do.
You do.
I do think he would be saying the same thing. He'd be still certainly bitching about it, but he'd be saying the same thing in terms of not wishing to denigrate the the Liberty Medias, because this is a big race. The implications of having this be a bad show this weekend is huge, and I actually think Verstappen has done himself no favors for the rules in the next couple of years. Right, according to the pressure that Liberty Media are going to put on the FIA in order to make the show better, right, inverted commas, by saying the stuff he said about what is the jewel in the crown of Formula One races now, because this isn't some we're getting paid to put a race on at a circuit. This is we've invested the FIA's money in order to make this race what it is. We've put in whatever it is, $500 million, to get this race on the road and going. We've got a 10-year contract. What other circuit has got a 10-year contract? I can't think of one. Even the classic circuits don't get 10-year contracts, right? Why? Because they're not owned by the FIA. They're not owned by the Liberty Media.
And let's not forget that, actually, another thing that people forget is that race actually made money. Although it was the first year that it was held, usually they go at a loss the first year because you got to set up all the infrastructure and all, which eventually you split in several years. The cost. That first race in Las Vegas, it made money, and they made a fantastic job. If you remember, the piece, the long straight on the strip, what they actually did was that in between practice and qualifying, they reopened the roads, and then they closed them again, and that means moving all the New Jersey and the fences. They had to move them and put them back again. That's something which has never happened anywhere, not even in Monaco, which, they've been racing for years. So, yeah, fantastic job, really good job. And actually, it's a race that made money, so it gets even more trickier. So,
as its first event, I think things could have possibly been a lot worse than they were.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. No, it was actually very good.
Yeah.
I was impressed at the end of the first couple of days of practice. I was like, oh my God, this is going to be a shit show. What with the track being cold, they couldn't warm the tyres up. Stuff like Lando going on in the race. This was going to be a bit of a shit show. The cars just weren't set up. They didn't know what was going on. Like, this is a circuit which is outside the confines of what we normally get in Formula One as a race. And so as a result, it's always going to be tricky. Every year it's going to be tricky. And I think this bodes well that we had such a good race. I'll be disappointed, like when when we finally get round to this and we see more teething troubles every year, which I think is inevitability because of the way they've had to organize the race to bend around Las Vegas. But nonetheless, either way, I think as the circuit gets bumpier and bumpier, which it's bound to do, I think there are going to be more and more exciting races, and eventually we will get to the same standard as the other American races, where we're basically racing on an Indy circuit.
Yeah, I
instead
think
of a Formula One circuit.
Overall, it would have been a win for Formula One this last weekend, despite the unfortunate
It had
events.
to be as well. It had to be as well. And that's the point about why I'm saying about Toto being in support of it and just going, look, don't denigrate the circuit. We don't want to hear news about the circuit being denigrated because, yeah, this is a problem, but look, it's happened to Monaco, it's happened to Baku. So like this is nothing which we faced before. So saying that this is out of the line, that this is so unacceptable is ridiculous. Otherwise, we wouldn't be racing at Baku. We wouldn't be racing at Monaco. So and there is that. I think it's an oversight. I think it's an oversight, right? In that they could have gone, okay, look, we can't have these cars racing over drains. So let's just take all of the drains out of, or whatever they are, valve access points. Let's just take all of those out, okay? Of the track completely, because it's only like a 1.5 mile strip. How many can there be? You know what I mean?
I mean, the way worse circuit that we're racing on this year, and a lot of them are permanent circuit. I mean, Zandvoort is a fucking joke. See the race there,
Sorry, Bob. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But yeah, I mean, so the way worse circuit that we're racing, some of them are permanent. I'm not even thinking about Monaco or Baku. So yeah, that was a good race and good circuit.
I think so. I think so. Especially when you consider the other ones that are like it, because this is now what the third fastest circuit
Yeah.
in the Grand Prix calendar. So we've got Monza, we've got the Saudi Arabian one, whatever that's called, and we've got this one now. So I think of those three, Monza followed by Las Vegas, two best circuits we go to probably.
Yeah.
As the Williams
That's
showed
fine.
this weekend, even if your car is a bit iffy, as theirs is, you can still do quite well at Las Vegas.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not a Formula One type circuit. That's what I'm
No,
saying.
it's
It's
not.
very much an outlier compared to the most circuits we go to, and that means it's always no teams are going to design their car for Las Vegas, right? So it's always going to favour the cars that don't have good, good development and et cetera, every year. So yeah, I think it bodes really well for the future. As I say, we're there for 10 years now, so that's got to be great. Okay, I'm going to move us on now. Thank you very much for
Yeah.
that, gentlemen. I'm just going to play the little audio that we've got for this bit. Is everybody ready? Yeah. Yes, good.
Go
Okay,
on.
nobody's saying no. That's an improvement. Okay, so here we go into the last section of the show. It's quiz or myth. Quiz or myth. Myth or quiz. Quiz or myth or myth or quiz. Is it a quiz? Is it a myth? We don't know. Over to you, Lucky.
Well, it's going to be a quiz this week. A couple of different things we're going to try. Now, what I was going to ask you to do, if you see in chat there, I actually posted a video, which is to reinforce your point that hitting drain covers in Formula One tracks is not a new thing. It's happened before. And if you could get that video up while I'm talking about what we're going to do, we can have a quick look at that. Now, I've got questions about. Oh, here we go. Yeah, can you look at this? Is China in 2000 and something, and features one Pablo Montoya who hits a drain cover that was buried in the curbing, I believe.
Yeah. Okay, ready to play it?
Yeah, sure.
2005. Okay.
2005.
Oh yes. Oh my God, I remember that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is, as I said, it was one Pablo Montoya. You'll see what happens. Yeah, here we go. Drain cover comes up, right into the right-hand front there. So this is not something new. It's something that's happened before. As
Can
you
I just
said,
say, what a fantastic circuit as well that was. Oh, I used to love that circuit. There we go.
another
Okay.
thing killed by COVID. Okay.
Yeah.
What we're going to do is we're going to start off with, you're going to get a question each. Now, I don't want any answers until I tell you. I'm going to give you both your questions. You're going to get a question each, but you're going to get the questions at the same time. Okay, so from Fabio, I want to know who the last world champion of the 20th century was. And Simus, I want to know who the first world champion of the 21st century was. Last champion, 20th, first champion, 21st.
Okay, could you just tell me what year we're talking about? It's like sometimes the centuries are mix over on the first year of the century and not the last.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, going to.
So which year are you talking about?
99 and 2000.
Okay, thank you.
So you're looking for the 2000 and Fab's looking for 1999.
Yeah, I've got an answer. Whether it's right or not, I don't know.
99. I don't know. Could either be, I don't know. Might be Alonso.
Okay, and I'm going to say Mika Hakkinen.
Oh, Fabio should have gone for Mika Hakkinen, and you should have gone for Michael Schumacher, Simus.
Oh, really? Schumacher. 2000 was Schumacher. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. 99 was Hakkinen.
Yeah.
So you
I was close.
were very close, actually, Samus. But
Yeah.
Alonso,
2004 was Alonso.
he just
Yeah, Alonso was
benefited-
later on. Yeah.
he was.
Okay. So
Okay,
neither of us got a
no,
point.
Okay.
Okay.
No,
There you
no
go.
points there. Now, Samus, if you look in Discord, you'll see there's two pictures.
Yes. Okay.
If you can bring the pictures up, the one on
Which one do you want first?
Well, the one we want first is going to be the one on the right, and that's for Fabio.
You just tell me which car.
Oh,
Red Bull
the
or Alpha?
Red Bull, yeah, the Red Bull.
Red Bull one for Fabio. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, Red Bull one for Fabio.
Okay.
Can you tell me the name of this circuit, Fabio?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's obviously a current track, as you see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a current track.
I think I know this one. Yeah.
Well, keep it yourself because you can perhaps steal a point.
Yeah. I'm gonna with Fabio.
You can't get it.
Fabio fumbles the rugby ball.
When I first saw this, I actually thought it was the Red Bull ring. So you're gonna get to know where it's not. I thought it was the Red Bull ring, but it's not the Red Bull.
I mean, there's something. I mean, so okay. The first thing which popped in my head was Spa, but it's a really weird angle, and no, it can't be Spa. I mean, the fucking barriers on the back. Huh.
If you
Yeah,
get this, it's worth 10 points, but you'll only get one.
I don't know. Fuck. I really don't know.
Actually, it's more confusing than I thought. But anyway.
Yeah, I know, right? Because
It's actually both of them are going to be equally as difficult.
Okay.
I will give you one clue that's
No
going to help
clues.
you with both your.
You've already given him
answers.
a clue. You've already given him a clue.
Yeah. Well, I was going to give you both a clue here.
Just go for a guess. Go for a guess.
Tension's building. There's 1 point in it, and there's only this round and another round to go.
I don't know. It's a high downforce circuit because the wing is really steep. So it can't be Spa. I mean, Spa is impossible. It's not the Red Bull because the strips are all wrong. You know, the curbs are all wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there is a fucking guardrail on the back, which is really, oh shit.
Yeah. That's what gave it away, or that's what I think gave it away for me. I don't know.
I mean, I have no idea. I don't know.
Have a guess. Just have a guess.
Yes.
I would say, I don't know. So, can't be Monza, can't be Spa. Is not the Red Bull Ring. Australia.
Yeah,
Sorry,
go
so
ahead.
what? Australia. I don't know what you said. Sorry.
Go for a high downforce track.
I mean, okay, I would say it's Zandvoort, but just because I hate the circuit, I'll say it's Zandvoort.
Zandvoort's not current.
Okay. I think it's something.
Zandvoort, I'm thinking solar. Zandvoort is current, yeah, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not Zandvoort.
Okay.
Chance to steal a point here.
Well, I don't know actually. When you say it's not current, I guess you mean it's this year, but I didn't think it was
Well,
this year. I thought it was San Marino, or what's the name of the San Marino track?
Imola, you say? I
Imola.
don't think it's Imola. It's
Well,
because
maybe. I'm guessing. I'm guessing. Go ahead. What's the answer?
No, so I don't think it's Imola because it's
Okay.
all wrong.
It's
The,
not
no,
Imola.
no.
Okay.
No, I'm just saying. Might
Yeah.
as well be, but again, the curbs are wrong. For Imola, I don't
I
think
agree.
it's Imola.
I agree. But maybe that's just a position.
It can be Monza, of course.
We've guessed, Fabio. Can we just
Yeah.
move on because we've wasted 3 minutes on this already?
No, yeah. I mean, I really don't know. I really don't know. So yeah, I
Trying to
would
get
say,
to the end of the show here.
Yeah, yeah.
Go ahead.
It's
I
Hungary.
don't know. I'd say Spa. Hungary. Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
There you go. That's
would
a
never
good
say.
shot. Hungary, yeah. Okay,
I
that's a
doubt
good
so.
one.
No fucking way.
Okay,
The more it goes to the west
So-
or east. to the west. Okay, second picture.
second
And
picture.
this-
I'm going to be.
Oh,
hopefully
fuck
a little
off.
bit
I mean,
quicker.
that is fucking easy. Jesus Christ.
Second,
I hadn't even done
second
it yet.
picture for Simos.
Oh,
Same. What's the circuit?
oh. Oh. mm. Well,
There might be
Yeah.
a touch of irony happening here. Just
I know. I know. Yeah.
is okay. So I'm guessing this one is. Is it that one? Yeah, San Marino. So what did you call
Yeah.
it?
Oh, it
It's
is.
Imola.
It is
Imola.
Imola. Well done.
There you go. That is
Well,
a touch
I
of
mean,
irony.
the fact that you got the Italian flag on the curbs,
that does
it's
help.
really telling something.
That,
Yeah.
that really does help.
Yeah.
Although when I first, if you hadn't have said anything, right? Because
Yeah.
like, and this is how it goes because the last one was Hungary, and I thought, oh, hang on, that's the Hungarian flag that they put on the side of the thing.
No,
And then
I
went,
mean, listen.
Oh no, that's Italian.
I've spent years in Imola. I can tell you exactly it's Imola. So yeah.
Yeah. No, I might have said Monza had I thought
No,
about it
no,
less,
not
but then
Monza,
I would have
no,
looked
no.
at the wings. So there you go. Okay, well there we go. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for that, Lucky.
So
We are 23 minutes in past the hour, so
What-
as
Yeah.
always, I'm hurrying. Go ahead, Lucky.
Okay, well, that's 1 point to Simos for getting Imola on his picture in the picture round. So that's put you 2 points ahead, 14 to Fabio and 16 to you.
Okay, well
So
we
it's gonna
shall
be
see
all
the
the way
finale.
for-
I'm going to interrupt you there. So we shall see the finale next week because I
Mhm.
believe it is next week that we are at Abu Dhabi, and I dare say there'll be a special tiebreaker or some kind of system where it could still go either way. So everybody, if you wouldn't mind tuning in for next week, thank you very
Yeah.
much for being here. Thank you for the likes, and it basically is ciao from me
Ciao, ciao.
and from Lucky.
Lucky.
Guys, it's great seeing you again. Talk to you soon.
You great to have you back on the show. We'll see you next week for San Marino. Not for San Marino. Is it San Marino? It was San Marino. It was fucking San Marino. And I said that about the first one. Who'd have thought it?
It's Hungary.
Who'd have thought it?